What's up everyone? I am Brian and I am back with my wife Tran and our daughter Lana. She is 4.5 months old and we just took an impromptu trip out to Lake Tahoe. And last night I was searching for a nice easy 4x4 trail where I could take her out on her first outing, and I believe I have found it. It is a trail to what's called Genoa Peak. It is 9,000 feet elevation. It has an absolutely gorgeous view of the entire lake from the east side, and we are kind of partway through. We're taking our time. It's only about 6 miles from the entrance to the peak. The Genoa Peak Trail actually runs north to south with an entrance from both sides on Genoa Peak Road. We actually entered from the north side at the Spooner Summit Forest Service Station. It's located at 2367 Highway 50. You can see it off the side of the road, and Genoa Peak Road runs parallel to Highway 50 for a short stretch. You basically hop on that and take the road all the way to Genoa Peak.
You ready for this adventure?
Mm-hmm.
Is baby ready? Oh no, she's supposed to be. All right, let's go. Let's do this. All right, here we go. This is the start. This is going in from the north. Thank you.
Yep, you bet.
Right, let's do this.
In general, I would say the trail is sort of a tale of two halves. The first 3 miles is basically a relatively smooth fire road. Should be very easy for most off-road vehicles to tackle. I think that a stock Jeep, quite honestly, would have no problem with this entire trail. However, the second 3 miles actually does get quite rocky, and it's one of those things where you really just need to take your time. I was especially sensitive to this with a 4.5-month-old in the car. Basically, it limited my speed to probably sub 5 miles an hour to be able to kind of get the car over these rocks without shaking the vehicle to bits and driving my wife and child crazy.
I did download offline maps using Google Maps. I've got an Android phone and I definitely do not have service out here, so this has been really useful for keeping us on the actual trail. There are a couple of spots where you can turn off and you gotta make a decision left or right. When I've had to make those decisions, I can look at the screen and clearly see which way the trail I'm trying to take goes. The trail itself is pretty easy in terms of the road. It is very rocky though, which means a lot of bumps, especially if you haven't aired down, which I have not. I'm running at 36 PSI right now because I don't want to have to find air or air back up when I get off of this trail. I've been running in 2-wheel drive for the most part and been fine, but I'm just taking it easy because I got a sleeping baby in the back at the moment. That was a really big bug on my arm. That is one thing to keep in mind if you're gonna picnic. Bring mosquito spray or just be prepared to deal with bugs. The road is a single lane for the majority of the trail, so if you hit traffic, you are going to have to coordinate. For the most part, it is a non-issue. I want to say in the entire kind of half-day afternoon we spent out there, we maybe saw 10 cars at most. There were a number of side-by-side UTVs that we saw at the start,
They actually passed us fairly quickly in the morning, and then we never saw them again. I suspect that they were running other trails for smaller vehicles where they could go much faster. A little over a mile in, there is a small section of the dirt road that connects to pavement, but really it's not that long or significant for it to matter. And maybe 2.5 miles in, there is a little patch of water. I would call it a puddle. It's really not material. It's just if you don't want to get your Jeep all muddy, you need to take it a little bit slow. About 3 miles in, there actually was a really nice area that opened up. I would say it almost looked like a campground area. There were piles of wood that looked like fire pits. It was a great place to actually stop and take a break, throw down a blanket, and eat some lunch.
How is it? Nice job. Fun? Mm-hmm. You want to drive the rest of the way?
Mm-mm. What did you think of the trail? Was it easy, hard?
It was pretty easy.
Pretty easy compared to what we did at Hollister Hills the week or two ago. Was it last week?
Last week.
Last week. Oh man, we are really adventuring now. So pretty easy compared to what we did at Hollister Hills, but when we factor in that we've got a 4-month-old in the car, we are going especially slow. How is she taking it?
She's okay.
Okay. Although, while we were eating lunch, we saw some ants that I swear were 100 or 1,000 times larger than a regular ant, enough to really freak you out and decide maybe you shouldn't actually be sitting on the ground to eat. So after seeing those ants, we actually packed up pretty quickly and continued on our way. When you get to the peak, there's only so far you can drive the Jeep. So you get out and there's a hill with kind of radio towers on the top of it, and it looks kind of daunting from the bottom, but it only takes about 5 minutes to climb from the bottom to the top.
Sweet.
When you get to the top, you actually have a 360-degree view. You can see from Lake Tahoe all the way to Carson City, Nevada on the other side. It is pretty cool, and if you get this far and you're up for it, it is definitely worth the hike up to the top. I actually had a GoPro mounted to my backpack, so I've got some footage of what it's like to actually climb this. It is very rocky. I would recommend wearing some hiking shoes. Most of the large rocks are solidly in place, but a lot of the smaller stuff is loose. All right, everyone, I made it to the top. It is pretty windy up here, but my goodness, the view is incredible. So you can see our Jeep is all the way down there. I climbed to the top of this hill here, and the view down there was already very nice, but the view up here, even better. And it's kind of a full 360, so we have Lake Tahoe in front of us. We're gonna spin around and we're gonna see some radio towers. And then on the back side, we actually have Carson City, Nevada over there. There's a couple cities I can see. I don't know which one is Carson City, but I know it's over there. And back again. There you go. It is absolutely gorgeous, absolutely worth the trek out here. The last probably quarter to half mile of the trail is really where you start to pick up the elevation. I didn't think that the map was accurate because it showed the trail ending in 0.3 miles, and it just did not feel like we could see the lake or we were out of the woods. And then all of a sudden you get to 0.2, you start climbing, and then you have this absolutely incredible view. Totally worth it. Trail overall, really pretty easy as far as the actual road itself goes, but there are a lot of rocks. It is very, very rocky. With a 4.5-month-old daughter, I had to go very slow, basically sub 5 miles an hour, so as to not upset her. Still, the distance out here wasn't so long that it made it a burden or difficult. We still got out here in reasonable time, really enjoyed the day. Overall, perfect trail for what I was looking for. I'd absolutely highly recommend it. And I think that's all I've got for this one. So thank you for watching. We appreciate you, and we will see you at the next one soon.